Yeah,
So you can do your clap or whatever.
I'm also recording. Three, two, one.
I don't need to clap.
Yeah, but you did.
Yeah.
I
And there's
appreciate
no
it.
way I'm giving a full on clap right now with the infant sleeping in the next room.
Child. Yeah.
Yeah, no way. No way.
Yeah, what a terrible roommate. Welcome to another episode of Roommates Review. I'm your roommate, Liam.
And I'm your roommate, Evan. And
And
we're
going
to
talk
about
my
last.
breath.
It's a real deep episode today.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we're talking about death, and more importantly, we're talking about Liam's death.
Yes.
This is his
Yeah.
final episode.
You know, we watched X-Men Origins Wolverine,
Yeah, and it
and it
feels
just
like so
got
long ago
mhm.
at this
it
point.
yeah, it just got me thinking about death.
Yeah,
Because Wolverine, he doesn't get to die.
he doesn't.
It was a poignant film.
Yeah. Wait, did you say poignant or poor?
Poignant.
Oh,
Yeah. What did you think of it?
okay. So obviously it sucks. Let's get that out of the way first.
Yeah.
It sucks, but it sucks to a degree that I didn't expect going
Mm,
into it. I It came out in 2009
yep.
and I hadn't seen it since it came out. I'm pretty sure. Notable things I remembered about it was um will.i.am was in it,
Hmm.
Gambit was in it, Wolverine's awful claws, which I didn't clock in 2009. I don't know what was wrong with me then, but I
Hmm.
didn't I remember seeing that later. I'm like, "Oh, how did I miss that?" Everything with Deadpool, I remember
Yep.
all that. And then I specifically remembered that last part of, I don't even know the character's name. Don't even have a guess. The school teacher empath lady who was
Is she
sister.
real? They make her up?
Da, ooh,
I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, probably. I'm a fake fan,
I feel
so I don't
like
know.
Emma Frost does have a sister. That seems
I
right.
believe it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. I really don't know. But anyway, her. I don't. Do you have a guess at what her character name was? Nope.
Touch her. Yeah. Sometimes she needs to speak her commands. Other times
Yeah. Other
she
times
uses her mind.
she can use mind control, and it
Yeah, it's
doesn't
an
work.
influence thing, but it's also very literal.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how that one
Yeah. I'm
works
not. I'm not
entirely.
sure either. Did we see the scene? Did I make this scene up in my head where Stryker stops walking? Did we see that?
We didn't. There must have been a mid-credit scene that I skipped
Maybe
past
we skipped it
because I
because
remember that
yes, I remember
distinctly.
he stops walking at some point.
Yeah,
Anyway, I don't
like
even know what my
some
I remembered
did
that.
somebody stop him?
Maybe
Yeah.
too many
No,
things
I
going on in
remember.
the middle of credits. Yeah,
Yeah, I remembered the Deadpool shushing at the end.
I forgot all about that.
I remembered that. So stupid.
It's
I
bad.
I was confused watching it back
Hmm.
because I was, I think, 15 ish when this came out because it came
Yeah,
out in 2009. I
yeah,
was born in 94, so around 15.
right.
I thought it ripped for sure. For sure. I saw it and like, this is an awesome flick. It's
Yeah,
got Wolverine in
yeah.
it
Oh
and
yeah. How could it
Gambit's
be
there.
bad?
It's cool.
Oh, it's
It's,
gotta be cool.
yeah. So I was cool with it for a while. I definitely watched it a few times after it came to video.
Yeah.
Um, But watching it back now, fresh eyes, I'm confused with like the horror type suspense
Hmm.
thriller elements they went
Mm-hmm.
with. Like
Mm-hmm.
they tried to have it both ways with Sabretooth, and I'm confused by what they wanted.
Yeah, oh yeah. I don't know. They never ever settled on a character for Sabretooth the whole
Yeah.
time. And I do want to warn you now, I'm fighting the urge constantly of calling him Saber Wolf from the Killer Instinct games, and it's gonna slip at least once
Yeah.
in this
I
conversation.
assume that's who you're going to cast in his place.
Yes, yeah. So Sabretooth, I'm so confused by his character. I don't know. Should we go through the plot of the movie? Should we give a general plot of the movie, or should we just start
Wow.
diving
I
into
don't
wild
know if
things?
there's a general plot that we can
It's
give.
hard. Here's something I was thinking. The second act was actually really fun. The first and third act
Mm,
are abysmal
yeah.
nightmares,
Abominations.
but the second act actually pretty fun. Um, which would I would consider after Wolverine gets naked, all of
Mm,
that up until going to Stryker's Island. That middle
yeah.
section, pretty fun. Fun stuff
It
with the
is fun.
Blob, fun stuff with Will
Yeah.
I Am, fun stuff with Gambit.
Hmm.
A lot of fun stuff in there.
You know what
Okay.
it is? It's the melodrama. Like the first and third acts are super melodramatic,
Yeah.
but the second act starts off with the fun old people, really nice, kind of a breather.
Yeah.
Then you bring in Will I Am, and he just looks cool.
Yeah.
So
Right.
he's hanging out, being awesome. Not as
Mm-hmm.
bad as I expected him to be.
No, no. He did a great job.
Um,
It's so
yeah,
weird that
like
he's in one movie and
there's
that's it.
genuinely fun and funny moments in that midsection.
Oh yeah. Yeah. There was something of a real like an actual good movie. There was actually in that.
Hmm.
There was something there. I wouldn't say it was like the best,
No,
but there was actually a good movie in there, and I think a lot of it was like they actually let Hugh Jackman be Wolverine.
yeah,
But anyway,
yeah, because he's instigating against Blob.
right, yes, yeah.
Despite all the warnings, like he can't help himself.
let's let's try to give the plot, or at least let's go like somewhat.
Uh,
Um,
okay, so it kicks off
mhm,
1800s, right? Canada
sure.
somewhere. Jimmy, Logan is Jimmy as a kid,
Yeah, oh yeah,
hanging out with his brother, Sabretooth, and his dad, who's not his dad. And Jimmy's sick, but it's because he's becoming a mutant, probably.
probably.
Um, his dad gets shot, finds out that's not his dad.
The guy who shot him was his dad,
Yeah,
or
and Sabretooth is his brother.
right? Yeah. Okay.
And then they run away into the woods and fight in all the world wars.
Here's what I was thinking of that scene because you mentioned something while we were watching it of like the breakneck speed setup of this
Hmm.
movie,
Yes.
which it is. I thought of a fantastic example of that exact same thing that was done really well, and
Mm.
it's a weird parallel. Follow me on this. Guardians of the Galaxy has a very similar opening
Mm.
to this movie. It's weird, but
Mm.
it actually is very like breakneck. Something just
Yeah.
crazy happens out of nowhere, and
Dropping us
here's a
into the
set. Yeah,
action.
and there's a separation. Like in
Hmm.
Guardians of the Galaxy, just the spaceship comes down all of a sudden in the middle of this
Yeah.
tragedy and all that stuff. And like, but it reminded me a lot of that. It was very
Mm.
poorly done.
Oh yeah, it was bad.
It
So
was bad and
I
could have just
you
been
s- you scared
completely
me for a bit
eliminated.
there. I
Mhm.
thought you were saying that the intro was like awesome. There were good ideas in there for sure, but it was very poorly executed.
Oh no, no, it was terrible. It was a horrible
Okay.
intro. Yeah, I
Oh
don't.
yeah.
There's like all these twists and turns, and you're like, I don't care. What's happening?
Yeah.
What's
Who are
going
these
on?
people?
It's like I don't think Logan benefits as a character from in this movie
Hmm.
specifically from accidentally killing his own dad, his own cuck dad or whatever.
I
I
think
mean,
his fake dad was the cook. Pretty sure.
I don't know. But yeah, I don't know.
Mhm.
I don't know what that
Yeah,
was
that
like.
never came up again.
Yeah, really, except in that there was such a big what it was trying to portray was that there was such a big consequence to him letting the animal out and being the Wolverine because he
Mm,
was so irrational in that moment that he actually killed a man who happened to be his father. And it's like it put
yeah.
a lot of extra weight on that, but it's like and that's supposed to be the theme of the movie. They do it very poorly, but that's
Hmm.
supposed to be, I would say, the main theme of the story is
Yeah.
that he's trying to fight becoming the Wolverine.
Hmm.
But
Yeah, I don't
he
like that.
yeah, but he eventually accepts it or
He doesn't though. He just loses his memory, which makes him mean and angry, I guess.
yeah.
I mean, I would be upset if I didn't have my memory, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, at no point does Jimmy Logan feel like a consistent character because he's I get what you're saying. It's trying to go for the will he, won't he accept this mantle and give in to the beast inside,
Yeah,
but
will he become the
it,
Wolverine? And
it doesn't read like that.
the movie is trying to tell you that becoming the Wolverine is the bad thing.
Yeah,
And it
when
doesn't.
it's objectively the cool thing.
Well, yeah, and obviously it's a cool thing, and they're really stuck. They've written themselves into a corner because they're writing Wolverine, who
Mm,
becomes Wolverine.
yeah,
Like, so it doesn't make any sense. You don't get the resolution to the theme. Like
no.
he doesn't learn that well there needs to be some balance between the man and the animal or something. But
Yeah, he
okay.
gets his mind wiped. Like this whole movie, the the culmination is yeah, none of it mattered. He's a fresh slate.
Yeah. The only thing it could have potentially affected was his relationship with Stryker and his
Mm,
relationship with Sabretooth, which are already much better fleshed out in the other movies that preceded it.
yeah.
So if it did anything, it took away from that. Do you think that they
Hmm.
were? I wish I knew. I wish I had done some research on it. Do you think that they were planning on continuing that story? Because I know they do another Wolverine movie, but it is not a continuation of this story, really.
No, no, it's much later. Like
Yeah,
it's isn't it like after the events of X3?
yeah, I
Like it's a
think so.
continuation of that
Yeah,
one.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
more a
like
sequel
this.
to the X-Men films instead of
Mhm.
this one. Who directed this one? Director Gavin Hood.
What else has he done?
That's a great question. He has also done, according to IMDb, um, he's known for Official Secrets, Eye in the Sky, A Reasonable Man, and Sootsie.
I've heard of none of
No, I
those.
never even heard of them. They all look like they all bombed. So I don't know.
So
He sucks
presumably this is his most successful film.
in my eyes, for sure.
Well, it's
I
the
already
best one
forgot
that
his
I've
name.
seen.
Um,
Robin Hood. Pretty sure is what you said.
I think that was it.
Yeah.
Wasn't he known for something else? No.
Mm-mm.
So okay, we get to the opening scene, setting up the character of uh, Wolverine kills his dad, his cuck dad. I think they're both cucks. I'm not sure.
Sure.
Uh, and then they run away, him and Sabretooth. Sabretooth's like, he
Mhm.
should have died. He's a cuck. And
I forgot he said, "Man, that was sick. I like when you killed our dad."
basically, right? Didn't he say something like
Yeah,
that?
pretty much.
Okay, so that's his character. His character setup there is Wolverine is can't control his temper.
Hmm.
Sabretooth is hates cucks or his dad or something. I don't know. He's emo. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know. I don't know.
Uh,
So they run off into the woods and then comes I don't know. It was so cool. I remember it being cool in 2009. The
yeah,
highlight reel of
for
him
sure.
going through all the wars and
I
it's like
remember thinking I would like to watch each and every one of these.
they probably would have been better stories,
Yeah,
honestly.
because they would have been. Never mind. Continue.
So, uh, I think that yeah. So highlight reel, and then we get a very like Sam Raimi's Spider-Man esque intro, where it's going
Mhm.
through the credits while it's showing all these cool things that they were doing. So
Yeah.
they've decided that they're going to run away from home and fight in wars because they're really good at killing people, right?
Mhm. Yep.
And that's what I'm guessing. They're good at killing
Hmm.
people. Um, Man, it just makes me think of another crazy thing that happens in the movie. But we'll get there. I think we'll get there. I hope we get there. So they get to the highlight reel, they do the wars, whatever, and then
Culminates
we
in Vietnam.
get into Vietnam. They're
Hmm.
surrounded by a whole bunch of people with guns. They put them on post for the shooting squad. Jump cut, they're in prison in cuffs.
Hmm.
Okay? Presumably they survived the shooting squad. Is that what's happened?
Yeah. Yeah, they made it through.
Like seriously, is that what they're implying?
Yeah,
Okay.
because they said, he says it tickled,
Right.
and they have bullet holes in their shirt and
Okay,
everything.
okay. I wanted to make sure that I didn't misunderstand that or miss that. I was a little distracted at that point. Okay, so okay. That makes me really mad about some other things that happen in the movie. So they
Mm-hmm.
survive the firing squad, which I assume is several bullets, many to the head, I
Hmm.
would guess, to the brain,
One would think.
and so easily survivable, apparently,
Hmm.
for Wolverine and Sabretooth, both able to survive it. Okay, so then Stryker comes, and he's a different Stryker than the Stryker from the X-Men movies, even though they
Yes.
still picked an old guy to do it,
Hmm.
which is odd. I I think I don't know which actor's older. Actually, they're both
I
old
don't even
guys
remember
though.
what the other striker looks like.
He's just an old guy.
Yeah,
So
exactly. He's just an old guy.
maybe Stryker is always old. That's his mutant power.
Hmm.
Stryker shows up, says, "You want to really help your country," and he um, puts them into whatever his Stryker team is because it can't be called Weapon X because
Yeah.
Wolverine's Weapon X, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
But Stryker's thing is normally called Weapon X, isn't it?
I believe so.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah,
I'm
they're
sure.
just some kind of suicide squad.
Yeah, they are. They're supposed to be these mutants who come together, and they're. It really implies without showing us very much. It it does a lot of telling and not showing
Hmm.
that they're a really tight knit group
Yeah, they've
of
known each other
mutants.
for a
They've
while.
known each other for a while, you know. They're really close, and they have to just
Hmm.
kind of tell us that because they can't show us it very well. And so that's where you meet Will I
Can't
Am.
or won't.
I don't know. I don't know which it is. But that's where you get Will I Am who can teleport. Is his name
Hmm.
like what's his character's name?
Spectre?
Spectre? Yeah, I think that was his mutant name. And then I think they were calling him John. or Jimmy
Yeah, that sounds
Bones or
fair.
something. I don't remember.
Jimmy Bones,
I don't remember.
proprietor. Yeah.
Yeah. And you got that, and that's where you also meet the Blob
Yep.
and Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool.
hmm
They
And
go, yeah, go ahead.
that that one guy with the guns,
Oh, yeah, Zero.
Zero. I want to say
Zero.
Zoom or something.
Yeah, Zoom from Flash Comics.
Yeah.
He-
All of
so,
them have just indiscernible powers.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know what I don't know what Deadpool's mutant power is supposed to be.
He's got a
Truthfully,
healing factor.
I don't know that he gets that until he gets
He doesn't get it
healed.
until, yeah.
He gets the Wolverine juice.
Yeah, in this he just pulls out two katanas and whips them around really fast and cuts
Yeah,
the bullets.
he's like super fast at that, and it made me question pretty much all of them. Stryker
Mhm.
could have brought just one
Oh
of
yeah.
any of those mutants and been able to accomplish anything he wanted to do.
So yeah, presumably Blob, I don't know what he was pre-Blob, um, is impervious aside from his head, his temple.
Yeah, well the thing is, here's what made me think of. I wanted to make sure I got right on the shooting squad thing because Deadpool, they're in an elevator, they come out of it, people are shooting tons of guns. Deadpool does a whole bunch of sword things, blocks all the bullets, which is all it's just really, really stupid looking and it's
Yeah.
not very cool at all. I remember thinking him cutting the bullet in half was really cool. It's really
hmm
not. It is not cool at
It was the
all.
slow motion
It's
that tricked you.
really lame.
hmm
It's so poorly done. It's just like you just showed us that both Sabretooth and Wolverine could survive a firing squad. So
Yeah.
why didn't you just send one of them in to handle it? Because it tickled,
hmm
take all the bullets, and then walk up to the Warlord guy,
Well, we had to
African
see
Warlord.
how cool he had to contribute. We had to see how cool Deadpool is,
Right, yeah, that's true.
who was just Wade back then, I guess.
Right. And it's
Yeah,
like,
they didn't have code names. Actually, now that I think about it, they just called each other their
to,
names.
yeah, is that because there's Zero? I maybe that's his name.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't know. They don't call him by any other name. I mean,
Yeah.
Stryker's just Stryker, so
hmm
that's his name. Yeah, and Wade, and what's is his name? Frank Bones? No, what's his name?
They're related. Jimmy and Frank Bones. You want to break that one down for me? How's that family tree work?
So I don't remember what his name is.
Did one of them marry
Pre-blob.
in?
Pre-blob. I don't remember what his
Yeah.
name is. It's something like that.
Okay.
It's something like Frank. So you're right. They
hmm
don't have any code names. They're just
Yeah.
guys.
Just
And they,
dudes.
and they just brute force like they tried to show off that they have like different little powers and little helpful things they could do,
hmm
but really they just literally just marched in and were
Yeah.
unfazed by all the bullets. Basically just could have been Superman,
Yeah.
all of
Any one
them.
of them,
All of them. Yeah, could have
except
easily
well, I
done it.
mean, except for Dominic Monaghan, who I can't remember his character's name. The Hobbit.
You've lost me. I don't know who in the world you're talking about.
You know, the freak that did the light bulb trick at the beginning. The circus freak.
Oh yeah, the circus freak who can control electricity.
Yeah.
Ooh, spooky.
Ooh.
What a powerful power. No,
Yeah, he
yeah,
couldn't. He wouldn't been able to walk in.
yeah. But he probably would have too if he could control as much electricity as they are showing. It. I don't know. Okay. All right,
Yeah, is he just
let's
stupid?
okay. There's a scene where he gets attacked by really, if you're listening to this, you need to go watch the movie to pick up. There's so many things that you have to see. Um, because it's real bad. If you
Mhm.
don't remember, I needed a good refresher from
Yeah.
2009. That's 15 years. Wow. I'm surprised I remembered as much as I did.
Hmm.
Sabretooth comes to kill um what was his name? I'm gonna go with Gordon Bones. I think they were triplets.
Mr.
Anyway,
Electric.
Mr. Electric goes to get him, the Carney
Yeah.
Freak, and kills him. And when he does, the whole carnival's lights shut down. So I don't know if that means I'm not certain if that means he could control, like he was turning everything on at all
Yeah.
times, or if him in his dying, gasping last breath turned it all out.
Wiped it out.
I don't know. I don't know
Taking the
which one that's
circus with me.
implying.
I mean, that's more reasonable. As a kid, you watch that like, oh no, he was powering the whole circus, and you think nothing of it past that. But
It could be either. It could be
like,
either.
wait, that's stupid.
It could be either. You
I
could convince me either
like it
way.
much better. I would prefer if he did it out of spite. Makes his character more interesting, at least.
Oh man.
They didn't even need his power. They took Will I Am's power.
Yeah, did
They
they
just
not use it and put it in Deadpool?
no, they just killed him.
What's the point of his character?
It is so that they can put circus freak murder or like dead in a newspaper to show to Logan because that's how minute Stryker gets.
Yeah, it's really important.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I don't know where we are on the plot. No clue. At some
I
point,
mean, I feel schizophrenic trying to explain the plot.
I would love to like really dive in deep on what in the world Sabretooth's character is.
Okay.
I would love to. I don't know that I'll be able to be successful in it because I don't think there's anything there. I
Hmm.
think it's incredibly shallow and changes from
Okay.
scene to scene. What his
Yes.
motivations are, I couldn't tell you what his end goal is.
Hmm.
So, but okay,
Walk me through it.
he's probably my least favorite. Although I think the actor does a good job
Hmm.
at. Did they use the same actor as the other Sabretooth? Surely not.
No,
Yeah,
no, not at all.
surely different, totally different guy. I think the other guy was Hulk Hogan. I'm not 100% on that, but I that's what I remember. So, okay, he hates his cuck dad. Then
Yes.
he fights in a bunch of wars alongside Logan.
Hmm.
Okay,
His
he
cuck dad's son.
he enjoys fighting and killing people is what he learns out of that. Or he can it's a way for him to enact just like these feral urges he has. It doesn't really
Hmm.
tell us that totally,
No.
but we kind of have to gather that from the movie. He thinks that Wolverine no, okay. So they go with Stryker. Stryker wants them to kill innocent people. And for some reason, Sabretooth is all on board with that. That didn't make
Yes.
any sense to me because I don't see the benefit he gets out of it other than he's evil, right?
That's in that scene. They all just kind of start smirking at Logan, like they were all in on a secret that we've been evil this whole time, and
Right,
it's like it's a surprise.
right. Okay, but Frank Bones, Jimmy Bones, both of them
Hmm.
turn good-ish, or they're sickened by the evilness of it, right? The only ones that are
Yeah.
truly evil
No,
are
they didn't care that they were killing Africans. They cared when they started killing other mutants or capturing other mutants.
right.
That's the
Right.
only thing that stopped Jimmy Bones and Frank Bones.
Okay. Okay. I can see that. I can see that. I'll give the movie credit on that. But okay, so then Jimmy Bones, Frank Bones. Zero is like total psycho killer kind of guy.
Yes.
That stays pretty consistent. Sabretooth also shows, you know what, I am willing to just kill people just
Mm-hmm.
because Stryker told me to. Well,
Jimmy
I don't
Bones,
know.
Frank Bones.
I don't think that they show. Does the Blob start killing people? Does he kill the innocent Africans? I
They
don't
don't
remember.
show it, but I think it's implied because
Okay.
they all stay and stick it out,
Right.
and it's only once they bring in start capturing mutants for the experiments that they get upset.
Right. That's what we learned from their characters. But Sabretooth specifically. Okay, I remember what I was going to say. That there's some really big trust behind following. Like, they really trust Stryker, which is so poorly set up that it's confusing for me that Sabretooth would just be like, yeah, let's go ahead and kill these people,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I would be okay if he would just like pure evil, strictly villain. That's not what they do with his character. But I have no problem with a character who's evil and ruthless and there's no explanation for it.
Yeah,
I've got no
for
problem with
sure.
that. You know, I think of like Scar from The Lion King.
Mm.
He's evil, he's conniving, he never gets any redemption.
Yeah,
Ever. He gets eaten by hyenas, his own people
awesome.
that he raised.
Mm-hmm.
Incredible. But he's strictly a
Mm-hmm.
villain. There's nothing that's like, oh, what was the backstory? Why is Scar like that? No, he's not in a position of power. He wants to be in a position of power. Evil.
Yes.
Think of it. I always think of that. My go-to example is someone who's a Goliath. Goliath in the Bible, strictly evil guy who gets killed and his head cut off. Like
Mm-hmm.
sometimes those are really, really, really good characters to just have in a story. Not every villain needs a backstory with the potential of redemption. Like
Right.
it doesn't not always necessary. So I'm okay with Sabretooth if that's what he is.
Mm-hmm.
And from what you see in the movies that are supposed to be after this movie's supposed to be before, Sabretooth is enemies with Wolverine. So
Yes.
presumably continually evil. Okay, so he's crossed the line. He just wants to kill innocent people. He's got the bloodlust. He'd rather be the animal. He gives some sort of justification, like we're this is who we are. I can't remember
Mm-hmm.
exactly what he says, but something like that.
More or less.
Of
Yeah.
like he thinks either him and Wolverine specifically are this way, or just because they're mutants, they're kind of monsters.
Mm.
It's kind of what he says.
Eh.
That's his
Yeah.
justification for why he's able to kill those people and not feel bad about it, right? And he
Right.
trusts Stryker to such an extent because at this point there's no like coercion from Stryker. He doesn't have anything on Sabretooth as far as I know,
Mm-hmm.
and he's not he hasn't made a deal with him yet. Later we
Yeah.
find out that there has been a deal that's made, which makes me even more confused once we get to it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's okay.
Remind me what the deal was.
Well, let's get there. I'm trying to
Okay.
we'll get there because I'm trying to understand what, like I said to you, I needed a
Yeah.
flow chart to understand what in the world Sabretooth was doing.
Yeah.
So,
Keep unraveling it.
okay. Then he shows up later to kill the lightning bulb man, lightning
Mm-hmm.
freak.
Yep. Lightning McQueen.
And he does kill him. He has no problem killing him in cold blood,
Mm-hmm.
showing that he's a cold-blooded killer for sure. He's willing to kill mutants, people who he once saw as friends. Totally gone, deranged man. Okay? And so when he shows up to Wolverine and kills um the teacher,
Yep.
empath lady. Man, definitely wish we had just
Hmm.
what do you call her? Toucher?
Toucher. Yeah.
Toucher. Once he kills Toucher, okay, then you're like, okay, he's full on evil. But the
Hmm.
reason he's doing that is this was the deal. The deal was if that Sabretooth continued working for if Sabretooth continued to do what Stryker wanted,
Hmm.
the deal was that either, or maybe both, he would get adamantium on his
Right.
bones,
Hmm.
or he would get a chance to kill Wolverine.
Yeah.
It's one of those is the deal, or both.
Yeah, which he could have just done without
Right,
Stryker.
right.
And the convoluted, all right, first you have to kill Lightning McQueen so we can put it in the newspaper so I can show up and then we can kill his girlfriend who isn't actually his girlfriend.
And we don't
So
actually
then he'll
kill.
come to me.
Yeah,
We don't actually kill.
and so that Stryker can seem like he's on opposing sides from Victor
Hmm.
Sabretooth, and that they'll, with that, be able to convince Wolverine to put the adamantium in his bones. I assume so that they can test it on him first, so that they can then put the adamantium on Sabretooth's bones. I
Yes.
think that's the deal. I think that's
That's
more of the
never
deal.
explicitly stated, but I agree that that is the implication.
I believe so. He specifically, Sabretooth says that there's a deal that was made, and I believe that that is the deal. That
Yeah,
Stryker is going to
that
put
tracks.
adamantium on Sabretooth's bones. I think that's what he wants.
Yeah, because later, um, Stryker says that the test came back
Right.
and it won't work. It's not compatible or something to that extent.
Right. Okay. Here's where that doesn't make any sense. But I believe that the reason why I'm putting an either or a both in
Hmm.
here, and I'll tell you why, is because I believe the reason that he wants the adamantium on his bones is to prove that he's just as strong as Wolverine, who was able to take the extreme pain and recover from getting the adamantium on his bones.
Yes.
Which then would make no sense of why he was trying to help Stryker, because Wolverine hasn't got the adamantium on his bones. Because it also, Jimmy Bones says that a thing with Sabretooth is that he was trying to prove that he was just as good as Wolverine. And that's
Hmm.
why he was killing all those people, that he was just as strong or just as tough. And his arc is supposed to be that he's not as good as Wolverine, and somehow comes to terms with that through nothing.
Yeah, through, oh, yeah, he's my brother and he didn't kill me, so I guess I gotta help him fight Weapon 11.
Yeah, which he Wolverine shows him. Oh, it's so complex and so stupid and so poorly written. It is just like it's mind-boggling. I'm trying to piece it together. So he fights Wolverine, which that that could be the deal. That's why I think that could be the deal. He wants to kill Wolverine. I don't know why he needs Stryker's help to do it.
See, that's the problem, though. He could have just done that before the adamantium thing.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
he kicked
That's
his,
actually his best chance.
yeah, like he kicked his butt and threw him into a truck
Yeah.
and then stomped his claws.
Yeah.
So, what did he get out of Wolverine
Getting the adamantium,
receiving the adamantium?
nothing.
Nothing.
Just the promise of future help from Stryker to kill Wolverine. Maybe. Doesn't make any sense
That
at all.
No, it's inconsistent.
It doesn't make any sense. Like that's what I
No.
was saying. That's why I didn't know if it was either or both, or like what the deal was. Really,
Mhm.
really, really unclear. And so then that makes his character motivation just off. You never know what's going to happen next with him.
No.
He taunts Wolverine and tells him to kill him, but he's not doing it in a way of like he could have had a redemption moment. It wouldn't have
Mhm.
made total sense, and I don't think it would have been good, but they could have set it up. He asks Wolverine to kill him, right?
Right.
Because Wolverine has a chance to. But he's doing that to taunt Wolverine. He's saying, "Oh, it's
Mhm.
the animal. You're just like me." And then
Yes.
Wolverine doesn't. So he's taunting him. He's not saying to Wolverine, like, "I've done something horrible. I've been evil, or I've been weak," or anything like
Mhm.
that. Oh, he's just like, "Show me that you're the animal." And by Wolverine not showing him that he's the animal, Sabretooth is supposed to realize, I guess, this is just out of thin air because I have to make up things in between, that
Mhm.
he has to realize that maybe not always unleashing the animal is the solution. That's the only thing that can make any sense of why he helps Wolverine.
You're intuiting a lot of things that
Oh
happened
no,
off
the writers
screen.
didn't put it on the page. That's for sure. But how did he get from point A to point B?
Yeah, so we're just creating some
Oh yeah,
fan
fan
fiction
fiction,
now.
totally fan fiction. Because that,
Trying we're working backwards to justify the actions of these characters who
right?
are
Yeah.
completely inconsistent.
Horribly inconsistent.
Hmm. Okay, I'm with
Sabretooth,
you.
yeah. There, it was like so. His whole arc is they're brothers who hate their cuck dad, who goes to the military together.
Mhm.
Sabretooth goes a little too far with it. They split up from each other because of that, because Sabretooth is willing to kill innocents. Logan's not. He thinks that Logan's weak for that. And to the point of where they get back together to fight each other. Wolverine beats him, I guess, proving that he's not weaker than Sabretooth. And so then Sabretooth is now friends with him. But Wolverine's not friends with Sabretooth, says this changes nothing. But then Wolverine gets shot in the head and loses all his memories, so I don't know.
And Sabretooth ceases to exist until he shows up, much like you said, dressed like a WWE character. But you know what? That look, awesome.
Oh, that's sick. I
It's
can't wait
so
to
good.
watch that movie.
That's such a good movie.
uh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm tired of talking about Sabretooth.
I'm mostly proud of myself that I didn't say Saberwolf one time. I tried to
Mm,
multiple times. It was almost there
yeah,
on the tip
that's
of my
good.
tongue. Yeah. No, I hate it. I hated his character probably the most.
Yeah, no, he
He was a
was,
really bad villain. So poorly written. I don't think he's supposed to
and
even be the main
his
villain.
no, Stryker's the main villain for sure. He's just Sabretooth is Logan's main villain initially until he finds out Stryker's behind it all. Because they're really brothers and they still love each other or something. It seemed like they always kind of didn't get along though, even as kids, because Sabretooth was just a dick aside from saying, give in to the animal.
I don't know. I really don't know.
I
Okay,
Yeah.
let's move on from Sabretooth then. Because I'm sick of him too. Let's figure out what in the world. And again, from that breakdown, I learned nothing.
No, I don't.
I learned
We never
nothing about
finished
his
talking
character.
about the plot. We that either.
It's just the plot's just a jumping off point.
Yeah, it felt like I I feel like I was halfway into the movie and it still felt like stage setting.
Yeah,
Like,
a lot of it is very unnecessary
yeah,
stage setting. It kind of
like
reminds me. Go ahead.
I wish that the first hour of the movie was also just condensed into the opening credits.
Yeah. Well,
Minimum.
they essentially do that at one point. Um,
That's true.
there's a scene where he's getting the adamantium fused to his bones, and he's gonna lose all his memories. So it seems. And so he remembers everything we've watched in the movie so far, and that's it.
It wasn't. He wasn't even implied to lose his memories at that point, though, because it's after the operation's been a success
Is
that
it?
Stryker says, "Yeah." That
Yeah.
Stryker says, "Erase his memories."
His memories.
So
Right,
I
you're right.
I'm more confused with the context why he was just having flashbacks
Yeah,
suddenly the whole time. Why
yeah,
we needed to see that.
yeah. I don't know, but they did sum everything up really quickly.
Yeah, they just went
There,
over it again.
the movie almost could have started right there. Almost.
Almost. Might have been a better movie.
It might have been a better movie.
Mm.
It almost,
Stronger start. Still a bad ending,
yeah,
but if it started with him blasting out of the vat,
yeah. Which I
naked,
said is the
jumping off the
start
waterfall.
is the start of the strongest part of the movie, the
Yeah,
strongest
absolutely.
act for sure. Which I couldn't remember how it went, so they definitely had me in that he was gonna lose all his memories because
Mhm.
that was how I remembered it happened.
Yeah,
But it
I was
isn't.
with you.
And they had a man, they had a way dumber way of doing it. So that they had to
That
get
they knew
out.
would work,
Yeah. Oh man, there's
even
just too
though
much.
he's been through Civil War, World
Mhm.
War One, World War Two.
Mhm.
Presumably, there's a few others in there. Vietnam. At some point, probably got shot in the head,
You would think.
but no, I guess not.
Guess
And
not.
not during the execution either,
Nope.
which we discussed earlier.
Nope.
So why does Stryker know, assume that his memories will be wasted at the end? And also, he goes in like knowing he can't kill Wolverine, like, no, this won't kill him, but it will mess up his memories. So there. Like, what was his plan after that? Was he just trying to get him off his tail?
I guess. For his end goal of creating the perfect mutant or whatever somehow.
He, you know what? I think we're misjudging Stryker because
Mm,
he's a patriot.
he
He
is.
did all of this for
Yeah,
America.
for the American, I mean, people, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, really, he's a hero. He's the
Yes.
the hero in my
hmm
heart. I
God
yeah,
bless.
I think that yeah, I think that Stryker may be consistent. I don't know. As far as a character, he might be consistent. His plans are really convoluted and they work out really well. Um, he might be consistent. Logan, how do we feel about Logan in this movie?
Dumb as a stump.
Yeah, but hot.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah, he looks great.
Looks good. Looks good. Good looking guy.
Skinny. He was a much smaller version of himself, though
Mm-hmm.
not as small as the original X-Men movie.
Mm-hmm.
He's tiny in that one.
He is. I would just
Somehow he just got bigger all the way until Logan,
right.
old man Logan. Logan,
Is there ever a time in the whole movie where we're not at breakneck speed?
like a contemplative moment.
I think there's one.
Yeah, it's when she's telling the story about the moon.
I was breaking my own neck at that point, so that doesn't count. I'm not gonna count that. uh, I think the old couple and all of that is
Yeah.
there's just one moment of like character and good
Mm.
character and good writing for just a moment, which is completely undermined by his horrible plastic claws, CGI claws.
Yeah, his spirit Halloween claws.
But they could have been that, and it would have looked better.
That's true.
But I think there's actually a genuine moment of character. Hugh Jackman does a fantastic job in that little bit where he's interacting with normal people, and it's
Hmm.
like it's good. It's all ruined instantly, but
Yeah.
I think that's the only time it's not at breakneck speed. Otherwise, the movie just goes, goes, goes. Doesn't care if you're hanging on or not. It's gonna
Yeah.
go, and it's never gonna stop.
I hope you're paying
Yeah,
attention
because
because there's a
something
new plot hook
bam,
every
bam, bam,
scene.
bam, 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 over and over and over again. Because even that,
That's
once
true.
that
Yeah.
starts, Zero shows up and shoots the old people, blames Wolverine for it for no reason,
Hmm.
no discernible reason.
Just a funny prank. Just a
Weapon
bit.
X has gone crazy in there. He's already killed 2 civilians. Well, then we better hit him with the bomb.
Whoa.
You think that will
Whoa,
take
that
him
wasn't part
out?
of the plan. All right, sequence of events.
Where?
He gets out. He's naked. Goes to the farm. Gets attacked.
Yeah.
Leaves the farm. He goes straight to Vegas from there, right?
Yeah, yeah, cause
Because he's riding the
oh,
motorcycle. He
oh, oh,
rides the
ooh,
motorcycle
ooh,
into
ooh,
Vegas.
ooh, 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 one thing I wanted to mention. One thing I wanted to mention. Um, Wolverine's defining character moment where he refuses to kill Sabretooth,
Hmm.
and it's like, I'm not that animal, right? Because he refuses to kill, he
Yep.
wouldn't kill the innocent people, and he won't even kill his brother who deserves it.
Hmm.
All terrible when he sets the helicopter on fire to destroy it in an explosion.
Yeah.
Just so they can have Hugh Jackman walking away from an explosion where he
I mean,
kills
fair,
Zero.
but yeah, it's like oh, like it's he didn't just kill him. He didn't just put him out of his misery. He blew him to pieces intentionally, spitefully.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not an animal.
I'm not an animal. That's what he
To be
learned.
fair, it was really cool.
It was really cool. So you're right. He goes to Vegas.
Hmm.
No, is that where Will I Am is? In Vegas?
Yeah.
Will I Am's in Vegas too?
Who else is in Vegas?
Gambit.
No, Gambit's in New Orleans
Oh wait, yeah, right.
because they go down there.
Right, you're right. Okay, so I got confused because Gambit doing the whole gambling thing.
Yeah. So, sequence of events.
Right. Okay.
He leaves the farm after they blew it up, after he blew up Zero. Motorcycles to Vegas,
Presumably looking for Jimmy Bones, right?
looking for Jimmy Bones. So he knows where Jimmy Bones is. Jimmy Bones points him to Frank Bones. Him and
Right.
Frank punch it out.
Right.
Frank is fat now.
Right.
They tell him about Gambit.
I do
Goes,
have to say, um, the blob scene,
mm-hmm.
pretty funny. That's
That
pretty
was
funny.
funny.
Pretty enjoyable scene, I would say.
There are scenes where the script is good enough to remind us that Hugh Jackman is very, very good at playing
Yeah. And this
this
is where you
character.
were talking about Will I Am. This is where he shines the most, has the most dialogue. And
Hmm.
he does pretty good with it,
Yeah,
surprisingly. And he's like not cringy to watch or anything. Like
yeah, he's a decent foil for Hugh Jackman to play
if
off
you
of.
didn't know it was Will I Am, you wouldn't think it was a non-actor
Yeah, I
acting in the role.
think it was a
Just
guy.
yeah, you just think it was some actor you didn't know,
Hmm.
which is actually I think that's he should be given a lot of credit for that.
Yeah, that's a compliment.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, all the blob stuff good. And then okay, Jimmy Bones, Frank Bones. Frank Bones says he knows of a guy who was on Stryker's Island
Yep, who escaped.
who escaped. Presumably, I'm just saying before he could sap any of his power. to use.
Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm. How does he do that? Do we learn?
We do not.
Okay.
So somehow they took Scott's eye portals and transferred that power to Wade to be able to use on command.
Yeah, and with many abilities, they steal. He has some technology somehow to steal mutant abilities.
Yes.
Okay, this is making you
Is it?
think
It's something to
think
do
way
with his
back.
son, isn't
Yeah,
it?
that's what I was at. Does his son can take powers or something?
It's something to do with his son. I can't recall, but I think it was part of the plot of one of the X Men like beat 'em ups, wasn't it? Like you go to Stryker's Island and do some stuff there.
That's possible. I can't remember. I'd have to watch the movie
Yeah, me
again
too.
but I think somehow his son can steal powers, which
Hmm.
doesn't seem right because that's Rogue's power, but I don't remember exactly. But we're gonna say that's what
I don't know.
happens.
Sure.
Somehow he's able to steal powers. Anyway,
Sure.
I couldn't remember of how he was even able to do that, and it doesn't really go into it at all. Um, they just presume you know why he can steal powers. They don't
Yeah.
explain it in any way, except that he spent $500 million on it, on the whole project. Uh, they, and I was gonna say they presumably don't steal Gambit's power before he's able to escape,
Right.
and all they say is that he escapes. And
Hmm.
so now
And
he
they called him
knows
Gambit because he liked to gamble.
because he was gambling in the prison
Hmm.
and doesn't seem right either from how the island works. Just seems like people were in total like dog cages
Yeah.
level of stuff. Whatever. Okay, not important. Not important.
Hmm.
Not important. Plenty of flaws.
Well, they were let out for rec time and to use the restroom, and
Right,
you
yeah.
know,
Yeah.
that's my head canon.
Right, yeah, of course. Because when you have people with superpowers, um, yeah, you don't want to keep them completely and totally contained.
No, they still have, I mean, constitutional rights.
Right. So
He's a patriot above all else.
yeah, Stryker's part of the Tea Party. No one knew it at the time. They go to see Gambit,
Mhm.
and Wolverine goes to see Gambit because he knows that
Well,
he escaped. Oh, I did want to point out here's just another stupid flaw in the movie. And just, okay, when he's fighting Blob, he beats him, and then they just want the cool shot of him pushing his claws through the glove to threaten Blob,
Mhm.
which we learn later that Blob had been knocked unconscious. So Wolverine was threatening a nearly dead man who couldn't
Yeah,
speak. Now, where
severe
is the
concussion.
island? Yeah, right. Just kind of ruins the whole thing. But anyway, Gambit says he can. He thinks that Wolverine's coming to take him in
Yeah, he thinks he works for a strike because of
for
his
Stryker,
effects.
right? And then probably the coolest thing in the whole movie happens, like legitimately cool, and that's when Gambit like throws up all the cards into the air
Hmm.
and shoots one or several or something, I don't know, into like a
Yeah,
cannon into Logan's chest, and he flies through a brick wall. Pretty
yeah,
sweet.
awesome. Cool
Really,
practical effects.
really good.
Good blending of CGI.
Yeah, oh yeah. Really good
Gambit's
moment.
powers are just cool in general.
I had a really I had a thought during the movie that really didn't come to fruition. Um, but before the whole Stryker Island thing and the end of the third act, I was like, man, that was a really nice light touch on Gambit without diving in too deep, but making him mysterious enough to stay cool or whatever.
Mhm.
They kind of ruined that by bringing him back at the
Yeah,
end. But I thought it was for a moment I thought it was like, oh, that's really cool. They just kind of set up a character that's only here for a little bit and it's only going to help
Mm.
for a little bit, and they do well with them. Now there is Liam. Could you break down that fight scene that happens after Gambit throws a card at Wolverine? He's knocked out of a brick wall into an alley.
Uh-huh.
Could you detail that for me? What happens next?
So, well, first we have to set the alley up a little
Okay.
bit because before Wolverine gets blasted out there, we have Jimmy Bones
Mm-hmm.
and Sabretooth run
Right.
into each other.
Mm.
And Jimmy Bones is predictable in the way he fights, so Sabretooth pulls a Mortal Kombat finisher on him and rips out his spine,
Right.
which pretty brutal. Uh,
Yeah.
you
Probably.
think he you think he did that to uh, Gordon Bones too? Like, what do you? How do you think he finished him?
He might have. I would call it a strictly irredeemable act by
Yeah,
Sabretooth.
for sure. Um, so that happened first.
Right.
So Wolverine gets blasted through the wall, sees the man who killed his girlfriend, and also ripped out Will.i.am's spine,
Right.
Jimmy Bone.
Right.
So they go at it. They're fighting. Wolverine's kicking his butt. Gambit gets in the way. Sabretooth.
Right.
So Wolverine turns on Gambit, and they start fighting it out. And at one point, Gambit gets on top of a fire escape, like the big ones that you see out in big cities, and they all have window access, and you blah blah blah.
Well, how does he get there? Do you
Doesn't
remember?
doesn't he do like a flip or something with his magic staff?
First,
Oh no, he doesn't. All right, so Gambit fights with a staff. A, it's a bow staff essentially.
oh yeah,
It's a
super cool.
it's awesome, but it's a stick. So Wolverine cuts it in half.
Right.
Then he uses it as just batons and fights him with it for a bit. Then he just stabs them into brick walls
Yeah, he used them as
and
Titans next.
just climbs up the side of a building with them, which I didn't know Gambit could do. Very cool. It just stopped empowering any of his weapons or
He
himself.
forgot.
Yeah, he forgot he was a mutant. So he could just do that, which is awesome. So he gets to the top of that fire escape. Wolverine cuts it from the wall, and then I don't even know what to compare it to. Like he's shredding cheese. He's just
Like a wood chipper.
like a wood chipper. He's just grinding the fire escape as it
Straight
comes
out.
down, and it's like chunking down.
This
Like
is
it's
straight out of Looney Tunes or like Scooby Doo, like eating a sandwich or whatever. Like, oh my gosh.
right. So yeah,
Oh,
Gambit presumably is off camera, just skedaddling his way, trying
oh.
to rise up the stairs, but the whole time it's moving down. So he's static. He doesn't leave the one position. It's an insane shot, and it goes on forever.
Oh man, it's good.
Solid, like 20-30 seconds of just
Oh
him
boy.
wood chippering
Oh
the fire
man.
escape.
Oh, that's good. That's a good scene.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, everyone needs to watch that. If I can put a clip up, I will. Oh my gosh.
And
I
this,
can't believe
as
I've watched
mentioned, the
that one
CGI
movie.
is truly
It's
atrocious.
just horrible. Absolutely terrible. It is. I was like, for a moment, until I learned at the very end of the movie that it was 2009, I was like, well, this is pre Spider-Man CGI, so like I get it. And then I realized
This
it was
came out in the 90s, so you know.
because the first X-Men came out before the first Spider-Man. And so in
Hmm.
my brain, I was like, all the X-Men happened, and then this movie happened, and then Spider-Man happened. That's
Mm,
not even sort of true at all.
not even
Iron Man
close.
had happened at this point.
Yeah,
And the CGI in that, and there's some rough spots of CGI, of course, 2008, but really good. And this is really bad.
yeah,
Really, really
yeah.
bad.
It's very much a step back.
Yeah, oh, big time.
Hmm.
Oh, it's
So
just horrible. So good.
he shreds the ladder. They decide that they're buds. He says, "Wow, that was a crazy thing you just did. Let's be cool about it. I'll fly you to 3 Mile Island, I guess, because that's
Right,
where they are in New York.
right.
That's in New York, right? Manhattan, just off
Yeah,
Manhattan.
yeah.
So they fly to 3 Mile Island. Wolverine just says, "Hey, this would be a good bit," and he dives out of the plane like multiple miles out.
Yeah.
So he skips across the water like a stone. Gambit fully lands the
But
plane just
let's
right next to the island.
let well, absolutely no
Mhm.
payoff. Like I said, they had a running bit. They could have done the rule of threes thing with it. They didn't. They decided to just completely. You know what I'm talking about?
No, what are you talking about?
Wolverine, and before they go into Africa and do the whole thing, which, by the way, Stryker's there to get the adamantium. We
Oh
never, we
yeah,
never did.
yeah. I know what you're
They're
talking
in
about.
the
Yep.
plane, and like Wolverine says, like God didn't create men to fly, or
Hmm.
he would have given them wings or whatever,
Yeah.
something along those lines. And so he's afraid of flying. I don't know if that happens in like
I had a sneeze. I got shy. Continue.
I don't know if that happens in the original X-Men movies that he's afraid of flying.
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't know if that's a character trait. I don't
I
remember
don't.
that. But
I don't
that's the
recall.
character trait in this. He's like, "Oh, I'm afraid of flying." And so then you see later he gets in a plane. It's like, "So, oh, here's some consistency in character." Gambit's flying the plane and Wolverine's nervous being up
Hmm.
in the airplane. It's like, "Oh, okay. That's fun." Except for the part where he then just jumps out, like you said, jumps into the water and then skips like a stone, even though he's made of adamantium. I don't know. He should have just kerplumped.
Yeah. How did he get out of that situation? He should have sunk to the bottom. Had to walk across Pirates of the Caribbean style.
Boys, take a walk.
Oh
It goes
man.
pure Pirates of the Caribbean.
And he would survive it too. He'd just be drowning the whole
Oh
time.
man, that'd be so cool.
That's so brutal.
Why didn't we get that scene of
Yeah,
him
that sounds awesome.
walking underwater to 3 Mile Island? So yeah,
They
yeah,
play it off like they play it off like it's a bit too. Like, man, this is gonna suck. Wish me
yeah,
luck.
yeah. Oh yeah. I don't
Yeah.
understand it at all.
So presumably he crashes into the side and blasts through a wall
Right,
of the building he needs to be in after
right.
he skips his way across the ocean. Um, then he goes into stealth mode, something that Wolverine is all about.
Yeah, where he sticks the claw through the door to cut the
Hmm.
lock or whatever.
Yeah, only to immediately confront Stryker
Yeah,
anyway. So, like, why didn't he just blast through the door? It doesn't matter.
he's invulnerable. It's like if the Hulk went into stealth mode all of a sudden.
Gotta sneak up on
Oh man, it's good. It's good. Man, this movie sucked.
him. Yeah.
So,
And they had a confrontation. Discovered that his girlfriend wasn't really dead,
yeah, for
but
some
she
reason,
actually loved him, but couldn't say.
right? Yeah,
Um,
she was under she was coerced by Stryker because Stryker had her sister, and apparently she hadn't come up with a way yet to touch Stryker.
mm,
Otherwise, she could have very easily mind controlled him because he didn't have any kind of block to that.
yeah.
I do wanna. I'm sorry. We have to talk about this Sabretooth again, but
Okay.
she goes to mind control Sabretooth at some point, because he wants to kill her. I don't remember why. I think to get back at Logan, but none
Yeah.
of that makes any sense with his character. We already went over that. She goes to mind control him. He says, "Your mind tricks don't work on me." Thoughts?
Yeah.
Thoughts?
So I'm gonna take that
Mm-hmm.
as her physically ripping their brain apart. No, I got nothing. I have
Yeah,
no
it
idea
didn't
why
make
it
any
doesn't work on
sense.
him.
Yeah, no reason
No.
for it not to work. If it works on
It works
Wolverine,
on Logan,
maybe.
maybe.
We don't know for sure. We never see her use it on him, I think.
Right. And we also don't know how long they were together.
Yeah, but she is definitely using it on the school children to get them to behave, which is,
Yeah,
that's cool.
I get it.
That's cool with me. Yeah.
Yeah, I see nothing wrong with
Just
that.
tell them what to do.
Mhm.
They also don't. Okay. Okay. Here's something. Whew, man, if you haven't seen the movie in a while, really, really, there are things that just really aren't explainable with words. But I'll try my best. Okay. Everything that happens with Deadpool, he gets combined all these mutant powers all at once. His mouth is completely removed, and Stryker now has the ability to control him completely and totally. Presumably, somehow he reverse engineered Toucher's power to do that, right?
Reverse engineered Gordon Bones's power. Because Gordon Bones can control machines.
And
So
wait,
he reverses the power and controls Wade through the computer by typing in commands like it's an adventure game, a text-based adventure game. Go through the door, decapitate.
presumably he says, okay, if you don't know, there's a scene, it only shows one command he ever types. He says he can completely and totally control Deadpool now.
Yeah.
And the only thing you ever see, he types in his computer. He types in his computer because he can see through his eyes for some reason.
Mhm.
Decapitate. And that's the only command you see, and he's trying to do that to Logan.
So is Stryker sitting back there like he's playing
Like a
Smash and just
StarCraft
like
character
yeah,
or StarCraft player, pro StarCraft player.
typing in commands constantly like the entire fight.
Yeah, his actions per minute are just off the charts. And he is like completely and totally controlling every muscle and in his body. I don't know. I don't
It's
understand.
like quap.
I love it. He says he has complete control over him. Do you really think? Were you meaning, or do you? I'm upset that this could be the reality. Do you really think that the Carney freaks? What was his name? Gordon,
Gordon
Gordon,
Bones.
Gordon Bones. Do you really think that that was his power that they were
There's
using?
there's no way, right? Like I was just
Okay,
saying dumb stuff.
okay. It's possible because they don't explain it. I think it does. It also doesn't make sense if they're using Toucher's power to
Hmm.
to control him either. That also doesn't make
No,
any sense.
no, for sure not.
And they don't explain it.
That's just good old fashioned American ingenuity.
Yeah, yeah. That's kind of a USA, USA, USA. God bless
Hmm.
America. Um,
Yeah.
salute kind of moment for us in the crowd, and I
Hmm.
cried. I cried, and I was waving the flag,
Yeah.
the white
No, that's
flag,
good.
because I
Yeah.
surrendered. I surrendered to our of government officials.
Mhm.
Um, they don't give Deadpool the diamond skin, do they?
No,
Okay, that's so stupid.
he just regenerates like
So
crazy.
stupid, stupid, stupid. Okay, so anyway, Toucher, the whole reason she goes and fakes her thing is because her sister is being imprisoned, and
Yes,
even though they don't intend on using her diamond powers for the ultimate weapon, or maybe for other weapons, they're trying to combine things. He
they
said something
still
about
got her.
compatibility. They got her, and that's why she's coerced.
Mhm.
I hate this movie. It sucks.
Yeah, for sure. So why does adamantium fully just stop the force beams? It's not like it's vibranium. Thank you for taking this seriously. I appreciate
I
that.
well, think what did they say about the adamantium? They said something like it's the hardest material,
It's virtually indestructible, is what he
virtually
said.
indestructible.
Right. But that
Right.
doesn't mean the laws of physics don't apply to it. So that
Well,
beam should have blasted him like across the ocean, or at least off of the top of the nuclear reactor.
right. Okay.
But he fully stops it with his crossed claws, and they heat up
Oh,
from the
yes, they do
friction or
heat up.
something. And that's the only way that he beats Wade, who
That's
does have adamantium.
in his bones, does he?
I think so, because when he when he teleports, you see his skeletal structure very briefly, and it looked like it was metal. So
Hmm.
that was the justification for heating up, or that's how he beat him, by heating up the claws and then decapitating.
I was trying to figure out when they got Jimmy Bones' teleporting power. I don't
Mm.
think that makes any sense.
There's a shot of Sabretooth kneeling over and collecting some of his blood.
Oh, okay. Okay. And that's enough. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Well, at least they justify it.
Yeah, and Sabretooth must have gotten it there just in time,
Oh yeah, just
because he would have beat them there by like 10 minutes.
yeah.
That's all they
He
needed.
got and he just yeah, that's all they needed. He had no hesitation. Good, good, good. So at the end of the day, Liam, we're here for a
Hmm.
reason, and one reason only, and that's to
Yes.
rank this movie compared to the other Marvel movies that exist.
You remind me of our current standings, or at least
Oh,
the top three.
well, because you know it's gonna be somewhere in there.
Yeah, I need to know where to put it.
Let me look for it here.
Mhm.
Uh, that's good stuff.
Are there any recasts that you'd like?
No. Okay, so here's the list. I found it.
Mhm.
Our number one movie is The Avengers, sitting on 95.
Nice. Good movie.
Number two, Captain America Civil War, sitting at a 92. And number three, The Avengers Infinity War, sitting at a 90.5.
Mm,
So those are our top three.
that tracks. Those are good movies.
Okay, when you want to list the bottom three?
Yeah.
Okay, number 18, The Amazing Spider-Man 2. So this is our lowest
Mhm.
ranked movie. Amazing Spider-Man 2, 39. I guess, yeah, number 16, no, number 17, Blade at a 41.
Mhm.
Number 16, Thor Ragnarok at a 54.5.
Mm.
So that's kind of our range.
Yeah.
So
Ooh,
what?
that makes it hard for me in retrospect. But I have to follow just my heart
Right.
in this
Now
moment
now
where we
remember,
are.
so here's the thing. When we rank,
Hmm.
there's no set rules or anything to it,
Yeah.
but part of it is that we're not taking the individual elements. If I rank this just on the writing alone, I I don't know if it would scratch the 20s.
No,
And
for sure not.
if I'm ranking it on just the CGI alone, ranking it real low. But taking into consideration the acting and uh, how
How
well
it
they
makes me feel.
how well they de-aged Patrick Stewart, uh, and they made a man who is fully capable of walking um, seem like he's not.
Yeah.
And
In front
so
of a PNG of a helicopter.
if we're not ranking it on its continuity or anything, we're
Hmm.
saying basically this is rewatchability. How does
Mm,
it make me feel?
mm,
And elements like that, just
yeah.
as a reminder to those at home, which is why we rank things like Thor Ragnarok incredibly low because it makes us feel bad.
Mm,
It may be a it may be a better movie to most than the Amazing Spider-Man, but to us it's not. So with that in
yeah.
mind, I guess uh, I don't have a pen. The most important part of the ranking.
We can type it into the chat
Okay, I like it. This way,
and
I
hit enter at the same time.
you know what I was hoping for, that we could both
Mm,
show the camera at the same time, but I like
yeah.
that we're keeping the bit alive that the audience doesn't get to see any of it.
Yeah. For sure. That'd be stupid.
It's just for us. It's
Just for us.
just the
Not
reveal for
about them.
us.
Okay.
I've given the ranking of 40. Liam's given the ranking of 55.
Now, my initial thought was 42 because it's objectively a very bad movie.
Real bad. Real bad.
Bad, 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 bad. But it made me feel good to watch.
It did.
It was fun for me.
So bad it's good.
Yeah.
So many bad elements we really couldn't even go over all.
No. There are so many inconsistencies and
Didn't even touch on the camera work or
no.
the Spartan kick that Wolverine does. The
Mm-mm.
actual literal Spartan kick.
Yeah. It was fun to watch. It felt
It was fun.
nostalgic. Um and yeah, I enjoyed watching it despite it being bad. Whereas movies like Blade were so boring.
Yeah, that's
I
true. Not very boring.
No, this wasn't boring. It was just bad.
Yeah,
Blade was bad and boring.
yeah. This was just confusing and frustrating.
Hmm.
But like
But
I
it
said,
it was rewarding to put it together Memento style here in
mhm,
this
right, right,
conversation.
and we did successfully.
Hmm.
Um, like I said, second act pretty strong, even though there's some fatal flaws within that second act, namely the the wood chipper uh,
Yeah.
Wolverine thing. That's well
No,
within that second act.
flaw is a strong choice. It was a stylistic choice.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So that could have been. I wish that would have been the worst act of the three, or if they would have focused more in that kind of area. Honestly,
Mm,
as the movie, um, they leaned really hard into. Again, we talked about uh, Sabretooth, and you touched on it that he was a horror movie villain at some
yeah.
points. He was clearly just a vampire
Hmm.
at some points. uh, as far as how they presented him, and but he never really felt menacing,
No,
or
it just kind of felt goofy.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So Hugh Jackman,
You
I
know,
think, did a
this
great job.
this movie should have been a buddy cop film
Yeah,
with
you think so?
Hugh Jackman and Gambit.
And who?
Gambit
Oh yeah,
or Will I Am. I'd accept Will I Am too,
yeah,
but probably Gambit.
yeah,
I think they play off each other fairly well,
yeah. And there could be
and I think
full-on
that's part
breakdown.
of what was lacking through the rest of the film is Wolverine didn't have a lot of friends to play off of
Yeah,
a lot of the time. Felt like he was alone
yeah,
often.
yeah. I would say that the real big strength, like I said, when Wolverine's able to talk to the normal people,
Hmm.
when
Yeah.
it's not so plot heavy. I think he actually does really, really well in that. Um, even though some of that is pretty stupid, I would
Hmm.
say. Um, but and oddly tragic for no reason. Uh, yeah, but yeah, I'm pretty happy with putting it out of 40. I don't think I'll ever watch it again. It's been 15 years since the last time I watched it. It may be
Mm,
another 15 or more if I ever
yeah.
watch it again. Perhaps one day I will show my son all these Marvel movies and teach him the way
Mm.
as he grows
I
up.
so now I'm really curious to watch. What's the one in Japan?
Hugh Jackman goes to Japan.
Yeah. So
I
I'm really
have no
curious to
idea.
watch Hugh Jackman Goes to Japan because when that one came out, I remember liking it much less than X-Men Origins.
Really?
Yes.
I think it's
So
a much better movie. Oh, shoot. I wanted to point out what a crazy um, consistency and continuity you brought up. I never even knew about or noticed. Um, and then we'll wrap up and we'll be done. But Cyclops' vision from Deadpool goes onto Wolverine's claws, heats them up.
yeah,
That makes him
yeah.
able to slice through the adamantium. That
Hmm.
same thing happens with Wolverine versus the Silver Samurai in
Oh
in
yeah,
the
it
other Wolverine.
does.
He gets the hot blades, and the hot blades are able to cut through the adamantium. Whoa, isn't that crazy they kept that
Consistent.
up? And also
Whoa.
Wolverine takes a nuke in that movie for some reason, and because this movie is so disconnected from everything, they don't even bring that up. He gets nuked in Nagasaki or wherever. I don't know if he was in Nagasaki or human, what was the other one called? Who cares? Bombed, destroyed. Who cares?
A lot of people. So the average, then the total score is 47.5
Ranking it as number 17,
or
right underneath
17.
Thor Ragnarok.
Not dead last.
Not dead last. And there's a lot more trash to go through, Liam.
Mm.
And we're back. We're gonna try to produce more of these, maybe or not. Okay,
Maybe.
see ya.
Might be one off forever.